Hi friends, gonna do a real quick video to explain how I did this beautiful little travel box here. Okay, so my original lining looked very similar to what you see here. So when I started, I took this piece out first because it's the last piece that goes in. If you are not going to be able to remember the steps, I suggest writing them down. So I took this piece out here, and under all of my lining pieces are my original pieces. So I could use them as a template. So from this piece came out these pieces here, and they were in 4 pieces. So this was one on the other side of here, this piece was one, that was one, and that was one. From there, I wrapped each one, and I used the Mod Podge, different ones, the harder ones, not just regular Mod Podge, but the hard cast ones. And I wasn't happy with the way you see here, like some of these has dark spots. That's where the glue dried really dark. So then I did not glue this one. I quilted it. I left it to where it would be movable, also because it's on the hinge. But just be aware of that. If you use a light one like this, you may need to line it with cotton, this is viol, so you may need to line it with like a white cotton underside. But I left it like this because I just figured it's on the side, it doesn't matter. It's harder, so hopefully it won't get torn if my scissors move. So I did the same on this side. You can see here, some of it came up already. I'm okay with that. That's not a big deal. The thing I would recommend is that if you do have a suitcase like this and you make this piece here, do your bias tape around the whole thing. I did it in each sections and I regret that. Let me see if I can get the back side. So see, you see here where I pieced this piece down with that piece, and I'm not happy with the way that part turned out, but you know, going forward I will do that differently. So then on the top, oh, and then the bottom I glued that piece in too. That was a separate piece as well, and I used the form that I had basically to make an ovaled rectangle or rounded edge rectangle. This is a rounded edge rectangle too. This piece and that piece were the first piece I glued in, the bottom piece and the top piece, because they need to harden. This is laminate, so it really allows it to be a little bit thicker and sturdier. I would not recommend using the viol for that, just because it's so sheer. This piece here is a very, very long, I took a 1/2 yard of mosaic and created a bias tape with my double fold on the inside and used a ruffle foot to make the ruffles. That's almost the whole 1/2 yard, but not quite, but pretty close. So just be mindful, if you're going to use a rare fabric, you're going to use a lot of it here. And then on this piece as well, I created a pocket that wasn't there before, but I used my original pieces as my templates, and on this one everything is there on the inside. So once I finally got to the point where I glued this down, I went in sections. I did this here, I Mod Podged first, and I left some area where I could hot glue like a dab, a dab, a dab, a dab, and the same at the bottom, so it would hold it in place while the Mod Podge hardens. I followed that same procedure for this piece here and that piece there, and then I did the same for this piece here around. And then once I was done with that, I did this last piece. And this piece I was a little bit freer with the glue, because this has to pucker here to allow this to open and close easily. So there's glue here along this piece and then down here, but there's nothing in that little fold there. So hopefully this helps. I'm going to jump over to my other one and show the inside of that one.